Have you ever felt like your emotions are controlling you, or that no matter how much you want to act, something seems to hold you back at the decisive moment? If the answer is yes, know that you are not alone. The truth is that emotional intelligence and courage are two essential forces for overcoming life's challenges. But here's a secret: they are not natural. They can and should be developed. Imagine facing any situation, whether at work, in relationships, or in your personal life, with calmness, determination, and confidence. This is possible when we learn to control our emotions and cultivate the courage needed to take action, even in the face of fear. Today, you will discover how emotional intelligence and courage are deeply connected and how you can use them to your advantage to transform your life. But first, a warning. This video may change the way you perceive your emotions and decisions forever. Let's start with the basics. What is emotional intelligence? Contrary to what many think, being emotionally intelligent does not just mean having self-control. It means understanding your emotions, knowing how to deal with them, and using them to your advantage. Emotionally intelligent people do not ignore their feelings, but they also do not let them take over. They have self-awareness, empathy, and above all, control over their reactions. Now, what about courage? Many people believe that being courageous means not feeling fear, but the reality is quite different. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Brave people feel fear, but they do not allow it to stop them from moving forward. And do you know what's most interesting? Emotional intelligence and courage go hand in hand. Those who develop emotional intelligence learn to handle fear, anxiety, and doubt more effectively. And those who are courageous face challenges in a more balanced way, without letting emotions take over. Now that we understand the importance of emotional intelligence and courage, let's move on to the practical part. How can we actually develop these skills? The first step is self-awareness. Stop and think. How many times have you reacted impulsively and later regretted it? This happens because many people don't take a moment to understand their emotions before acting. Self-awareness is the ability to recognize what you're feeling and why. Without it, we are merely prisoners of our emotions. Here's a simple exercise. Whenever you feel a strong emotion, pause for a few seconds and name that feeling. Are you angry, anxious, afraid? Simply identifying the emotion already gives you more control over it, but just recognizing what you feel is not enough. The second step is emotional self-regulation, which means learning to manage those emotions in a productive way. Think of a stressful situation, maybe a problem at work, an argument with someone close, or an important decision you need to make. How do you react? Some people explode while others shut down. Neither of these reactions is truly effective. Here's a powerful method to regulate emotions: the conscious breathing technique. When you feel a negative emotion taking over, breathe deeply. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly for another 4 seconds. This helps slow down your brain and regain control. Now, emotional intelligence isn't just about dealing with yourself. One of its most important pillars is empathy, the ability to understand other people's emotions. How many times have you witnessed arguments that could have been avoided if people had simply tried to see the situation from the other person's perspective? Practicing empathy means truly listening, without interrupting and without judging. Before reacting to someone, ask yourself, why is this person acting this way? What might they be going through? This prevents unnecessary conflicts and drastically improves relationships. And finally, we come to the last pillar of emotional intelligence: social skills. Knowing how to express emotions clearly and in a balanced way is a huge advantage in every area of life. People with high emotional intelligence communicate better, avoid misunderstandings, and build healthier relationships. Now that you understand how emotional intelligence works, a question arises: how can you transform this emotional balance into courage to take action? The answer lies in a fundamental concept: fear never completely disappears. Many people wait to feel confident before making a difficult decision or taking a big step. But the truth is that confidence only comes after action, not before. Here's the key: Courage is not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. And this is where emotional intelligence comes in. When you understand and control your emotions, you can prevent fear from paralyzing you. So how can you put this into practice? So, change your relationship with fear. Fear has a function. It wants to protect you. But many times it exaggerates. It makes you believe that everything will go wrong, that you're not good enough, or that the worst-case scenario will always happen. But the question is your fear a real warning or just an exaggeration from your mind? Whenever you feel fear, ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? If that happens, how can I handle it? And what if everything goes right? These questions help take fear out of control and give you clarity to take action. 2. Practice small acts of courage every day. Many people think courage is something huge, like facing a lion or skydiving. But in reality, courage is in the small daily actions, saying no to something you don't want to do, expressing your opinion in a difficult conversation, taking the first step in a project you've been putting off for years, facing an honest conversation with yourself about what you truly want in life. Each small act of courage trains your brain to take action, even when you feel afraid. Over time, it becomes a habit. Reprogram your brain to trust yourself. Our brain gets used to patterns. If every time you feel fear, you back away, your brain learns that retreating is the right response. But if every time you feel fear, you take a small step forward, your brain starts to understand that acting is safe. Here's a challenge. Think of something you're afraid to do, but deep down know you need to. Now, instead of trying to take a big leap, ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take today? If it's public speaking, maybe practice alone in front of a mirror. If it's starting a project, just write the first idea on paper. If it's having a difficult conversation, maybe just send a message to open the dialogue. Small steps create big changes. Now let's talk about one of the hardest moments in life, crises and failures. Everyone has gone through or will go through situations where everything seems to go wrong. Whether in work, relationships, or personal life, failure is inevitable. But here's the big difference between those who win and those who give up. How do you react when things don't go as expected? Most people see failure as a sign to quit. They say things like, "This isn't for me. I'll never make it." I am a failure, but people who truly succeed think differently. They see failure as a teacher, not an enemy. Here's a powerful secret. Failure doesn't define who you are. How you respond to it does. Reprogramming your mind to see failure as a lesson. Some of the greatest figures in history failed countless times before they succeeded. Thomas Edison made over 10,000 attempts before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because he lacked creativity. Oprah Winfrey was let go from television because they said she had no future in TV. If these people had given up after their first failure, the world would have never known their impact. Whenever something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? What is this failure trying to teach me?" This simple mindset shift changes everything. 2. Controlling your emotions in moments of crisis. When a crisis happens, most people's first reaction is to panic or feel overwhelmed. But remember emotional intelligence? This is where it becomes crucial. During a crisis, take a deep breath and focus on the present. What can be done right now? Avoid impulsive decisions. Let the dust settle before making a move. Look for a lesson. Even the worst crises carry valuable insights. A powerful tip. Whenever you're going through a major problem, imagine yourself in the future, looking back at this situation. Ask yourself, will this really matter 5 years from now? The answer is usually no. This helps reduce the emotional burden and allows you to act with clarity. The courage to keep moving forward after failure. Here's the hardest part, having the courage to keep going. When you fail, your mind will try to convince you that it's not worth trying again. But the truth is, each time you get back up after failure, you become stronger. Just remember, you don't need to take a giant leap, just one step forward. Now we've reached one of the most important points of this journey, self-confidence. Many people think confidence is something you're born with, but that's not true. In reality, self-confidence is built through small daily actions. And here's the secret. No one ever feels 100% ready before they start. Confident people aren't those who never feel fear or insecurity, but rather those who choose to act despite it. But how can you develop real self-confidence? Let's dive into the strategies. Take care of your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself can either strengthen you or destroy you. Stop and think. What do you say to yourself when facing a challenge? If you often say things like, "I'm not good enough," "I never get anything right," "This is impossible for me," then you're sabotaging your own confidence. The good news? You can reprogram your inner dialogue. The next time a negative thought appears, replace it with something empowering, like, "I may not be perfect, but I'm improving every day. I've faced challenges before, and I've overcome them. I deserve this opportunity." This may seem simple, but it makes a huge difference in your confidence level. Celebrate small wins. Many times, we feel insecure because we only focus on what we haven't achieved yet. But what about all the things you've already accomplished? Here's a powerful exercise. Every day, write down 3 things you did well. It can be something small like completing a difficult task, saying no to something you didn't want, or taking a step toward a bigger goal. Over time, this trains your brain to recognize your own progress, strengthening your confidence. 3. Step out of your comfort zone. Confidence doesn't come from theory, it comes from action. The more you expose yourself to challenging situations, the more confident you become. Think about something you're afraid to do but know you need to. Now break it down into smaller steps and face them one by one. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, start by practicing alone in front of a mirror. If you want to start a business, take the first step by researching and learning about it. If you want to improve your communication skills, start by talking to more strangers. Every small challenge you overcome builds confidence for the next one. Surround yourself with supportive people. Self-confidence is also influenced by the environment around you. If you're surrounded by negative people who always discourage you, your insecurity will only grow. That's why it's essential to choose to be around people who believe in you, support you, and encourage you to grow. If you don't have those, people in your current circle, seek communities, books, videos, and content that inspire you. Confidence is built step by step. Start today. Making decisions can be terrifying. Many times we feel paralyzed between multiple options, afraid of choosing the wrong one. But here's an important fact. Not deciding is also a decision, and usually the worst one. Emotional intelligence and courage play a crucial role when making big decisions. Whether it's changing jobs, ending a relationship, moving to a new city, or taking a different direction in life. So how can you make big decisions without regrets? Here are some powerful strategies. Understand the difference between fear and intuition. We often confuse fear with intuition. Fear screams, is chaotic, and makes us imagine the worst-case scenarios. Intuition is subtle. It gives you an internal feeling that something is right or wrong, even without a logical explanation. The next time you face a big decision, ask yourself, is this an irrational fear, or is my intuition truly warning me about something? A good way to test this is to imagine that someone else is in your situation. What advice would you give them? This can help you see things more clearly. Use the 5-year rule. Whenever you're unsure about a decision, ask yourself, will this still matter 5 years from now? If the answer is yes, then it's worth reflecting on further. But if the answer is no, you might be giving too much importance to something small. Many decisions that seem huge in the moment end up being irrelevant in the long run. Thinking this way helps you act with more courage and less anxiety. Make decisions based on your values, not fear. A common mistake is making decisions just to avoid immediate pain, instead of following what truly matters to you. For example, you stay in a job that makes you unhappy because you fear financial instability. Instead of looking for something that motivates you, you stay in a relationship that no longer fulfills you just to avoid the discomfort of a breakup. You avoid starting a new project because you're afraid of what others will think. If you make decisions based on fear, Your life will always be limited. But if you make decisions based on your values and what truly matters, you'll build a much more fulfilling life. Accept that there are no guarantees. Many people struggle with decisions because they want 100% certainty that they're making the right choice. But here's the truth: absolute certainty does not exist. The secret is to take action even without all the answers, because the only way to know if a decision was good or bad is to live the experience. Remember, it's better to make a decision and adjust the path later than to stay stuck waiting for the perfect choice. We've reached the end, and now it's time to talk about one of the biggest desires of any person: living a life without regrets. Think about this. When you're in the future, looking back, how do you want to remember your life? As someone who had the courage to follow their dreams, or as someone who let fear take control? The truth is, people's biggest regrets aren't about the things they did wrong, but about the things they never even tried. So how can you make sure you're building a life that's truly worth it? Stop waiting for the perfect moment. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start when I'm more prepared. It's not the right time yet. When I have more time, money, confidence, I'll begin." But the reality is, the perfect moment doesn't exist. If you wait to feel 100% ready before taking action, you'll spend your whole life postponing your dreams. The greatest achievers in the world didn't wait to be fully prepared. They started with what they had and learned along the way. So instead of waiting for the ideal moment, ask yourself, what is the smallest step I can take today? Get clear on what truly matters to you. Many people live on autopilot, just reacting to circumstances without ever stopping to think about what they truly want. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Grab a piece of paper and write down the 5 most important things in your life. 2. Now, look at your daily routine and see if your actions reflect those priorities. If you realize you're spending time on things that don't bring you closer to what really matters, it might be time for some changes. 3. Accept that failing is part of the process. One of the biggest fears that hold people back is the fear of failure. But the truth is, there's no success without failure. Every mistake brings a lesson. Every attempt makes you stronger. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it and keep moving forward. If you fail, it doesn't mean it wasn't meant to be. It means you're trying, and that already puts you ahead of those who never even started. Enjoy the present. While building your future, a lot of people are so worried about the future that they forget to enjoy the present. But life isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about embracing the journey. Practice gratitude for what you already have. Celebrate small wins. Allow yourself to experience happiness now while working toward your goals. Because in the end, what truly matters isn't just what you achieved, but how you lived each moment along the way. Conclusion: emotional intelligence and courage are the keys to a life without regrets. With them, you learn to handle your emotions, face challenges with your head held high, and make decisions that truly align with who you are. If there's something you've been dreaming of doing, start now. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for permission. Your life is happening right now, and before you go, don't forget, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. See you in the next video. Take care.